the gauge and whatnot are there in that box.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm fun getting all that back in there.
I mean, it's you know, a little bit of a pain in the butt. I'm Darrel Krentz, and I own the number 15 Thunder Roadster that Caleb's going to be driving. Got your new OP gauge, manual gauge.
Darrel Krentz is actually a former Winston West race car driver, you know, in NASCAR, and he's ran the Well Modified Series Tour. He's so knowledgeable, and he's the nicest guy ever.
We'll have some fun with that. We'll have some fun with that.
Darrel's, man, he's a character. He's one of a kind.
Maybe Caleb, no, he's too fat to wear it.
I appreciate that.
He's not from around here. He's not some southern boy like me and Caleb are. He's from out west.
I actually grew up in Reno, Nevada. Worked at my dad's Texaco gas station and then got into the auto repair business myself, and consequently around cars, around race cars. Started racing at a young age. I actually got into racing when one of my dad's employees at the Texaco gas station was racing at the local asphalt track. And of course, young and impressionable, I thought he was Superman. And I wanted to get into that racing stuff as quickly as I could. And went up through the ranks. See, back when Winston was still involved, the champions would get one of these helmets, and although she's a little dusty, isn't she? She's like a little dusty, kind of like me, right? Just a little bit dusty, but that was the helmet that I won for being the track champion. And at the same time, I was the Nevada state champion. Now, Nevada don't have a lot of tracks like North Carolina, but it's a championship season either way. Yeah, I ran, again, a Winston West car, and like we had talked about earlier, for every cup driver out there, every driver that you know their name, there's 100 or so that you've never heard of, and I was one of those ones running in the back, getting on TV every once in a while, but you wouldn't remember me. But man, I had a lot of fun. We ran the first race at California Speedway. We ran the first NASCAR race at Las Vegas. And this is California Speedway, the first NASCAR race at California Speedway. And that's the same car up top at Las Vegas. I got to race at the old Riverside Speedway road course racing back in the 80s. Man, was that fun stuff. With a little bit of help from Mark Martin. And then I ended up buying the car and converted it to an ARCA car and had some great times in that car. It was a real fun car to race, and that Speedway stuff is okay. It was a lot of fun, so. We did okay. It was a million years ago. You know, I've raced against a lot of those guys. Some of them before they became the, you know, well-known, respected, quality racers that they are. We kind of banged fenders and bumped doors and whatnot, racing in some of the short tracks. Ron Hornaday racing against him. Tremendous respect for him. What a great competitor. He's a tough competitor. Second, third generation racer. His whole family was around him. I raced against Mike Skinner. Me and Mike Skinner raced back in the old short track days where you'd get elbows up and you'd get grease under your fingernails and just get after it and then go out and drink a beer afterwards. Mike Skinner was a great guy. I also raced against Kevin Harvick, but you know, Kevin Harvick, at that point in time, I was in kind of the tail end of my career. He was just getting started, didn't really know him that well. And then through my racing experience, I got well acquainted with the Bush brothers because of my roots from the West Coast. And Joey Logano, got to know him, watch him coming up through the ranks, and so on and so forth. So we raced against some pretty well-known racers, and again, I was always that one that you'd never heard of. While they're up there getting the trophy and kissing the trophy girl, I'm the one that's pushing my car in the pits in 27th place. Your temp gauge is not tight. right?
Yeah.
Because you got to put those in, and see that just unhooks right there. So you wire it into your cowl, and then just put the cowl on, and then that just goes right on and be a slam dunk. One great thing about all the experience and experiences that I got racing cars, from the local short track up to the speedways, and being so diversified in my experience, back when I was working at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the 600 racing folks said, hey, we wanted you to come out and be part of and run our sanctioning body. And I felt it was pretty important to have that racing experience, because how can you relate to a racer if you haven't done it before? So I took over the whole NX side of the deal and helped promote Legends Car Racing, helped them move into the future, into international racing, oversaw all of the rules, the special events, the competition, everything to do with Legends, Bandoleros, and Thunder Roadster Racing was under my tutelage and my direction.
The knowledge he brought to the racetrack, helping us out and what we needed to do, was, I've never met somebody like that.
I probably know as much as anybody about the Legends, Bandoleros, and Thunder Roadster. And then we'll just put another piece here and just kind of direct it in there. And then, of course, as you can trim this.
And it's crazy how our story comes to be about us meeting. My father-in-law is actually best friends with a guy. He's a retired firefighter with the city of Gastonia. And he happens to work one day a week at a hardware store called West End Hardware. And he said, man, my boss actually just bought a Renegade car, and he had never done dirt track stuff, and he's looking to do that.
He's one of these and one of those, and we're even. All right, brother. See you later.
Gotta go by and talk to him sometime. I was like, sure.
I know when Caleb first came in, now we had a mutual connection there. When he came in and we started talking, the first thing that you gotta notice is his passion, is his excitement, and how he just loves the sport and really wants to do it.
I had a conversation, with strangers, and, I said, man, I heard you got a Renegade car, and didn't know anything at that time about his prior racing history, his, things that he's done in his past. And as we sat there and conversated a little bit, and I'm looking at his computer, his background screen, I'm like, that's Kentucky. He said, yeah, that was the ARCA race I ran in Kentucky. I was like, oh, okay. For him just to give a guy like me an opportunity, we met the day of, and maybe he, saw my passion for racing, but through our conversations, it's easy to see that we have so much in common.
And that's a lot the way I was 40 years ago, and he has that same passion, and I'm in a position to help him out pretty easily. And so it's fun, it's exciting. He's got a great group of supporters around him. And I'm, caught up a little bit in Caleb's whole aura, if you will, right? We're all kind of caught up in, okay. So we want to see him do well, want to see him have fun. And he seems to be a pretty good little racer.
Because it's all about meeting the right person at the right time with the right opportunity.
I think he's really, really cool, and I'm excited for the rest of the season to get to spend more time with him, hang out with him more.
Get all the solid ones?
That old 15 car, it's a good old car. It has a tremendous amount of heart, and it has raced and raced and raced. But now it had been in the rafters for a few years. And the one thing I noticed about Caleb is when we got down to Roebling, there was some problems. This wasn't working right, and that didn't go just perfect. And he was a real optimist and was not deterred, was not discouraged. He says, okay, let's just get it fixed. Let's just run with what we got to work with. He was he was dealing with what he had to deal with. We fixed it, and it got better as the weekend went on, and he got better, more acclimated, but never did he get discouraged. And that was great to see.
Considering how many sessions I went through with those tires, considering it was the first run on those tires, it felt like I thought they would have a little more grip. But obviously, this is a whole new world to me, a whole new world. I'm not obviously, I had never been a part of this till this weekend, so like stage in the paddock area, it's like, what in the world's a paddock? You know, I'm thinking, you know, I'm used to Carolina Speedway. It's like, I'm not in Carolina Speedway. I'm not at East Lincoln anymore.
The atmosphere, the people, the racing, I've never experienced something like that before. Just seeing all the different cars out there and the different brackets racing all at one time, it's something it's hard to explain how much fun it really was. On the straightaways, when you got the Corvettes and the 944s, BMWs, and all that good stuff just zipping by, it just doesn't have obviously the top end, the straightaway speed, but within the corners, man, I can hang with the best. It's really fun to dive this thing in, and the response of the on it, and you know, I can brake a whole lot later than a lot of these guys, and so I can just dive it in a lot harder, and it's so much fun. With a car like us, we're about middle of the pack as far as horsepower, speed, who we can compete with. So you're all the time either passing, getting past, running. You're learning where to put your car in a competitive spot, how to get out of the way of somebody, doing things in a safe manner, learning almost a whole different set of rules as far as competition, etiquette.
He does everything well, and we just try to hone in on braking, on steering, what to do when the track gets wet, because we do race in the rain. What line to go after when the track gets wet, restarts, and so on and so forth. It's all just, we'll try this and not that. He won both races. You know, I remember sitting in the pits with my car, because we raced in the same division, and just watching him and that old 15 car just going around the track, and I'm sitting there watching. I said, well, that 15 car beat me again. I have lost more to my own car than anybody else. The 15 car just takes a lick and keeps on ticking.
That wasn't bad, man.
Made me feel pretty good, as far as my confidence and doing something new. It just shows, with the right equipment and the right people and all that stuff put together, we have something really, really awesome in the making. And it's that confidence booster, not only if you want to go to the Thunder Roadster, but if we want to go anywhere else, whether it be road racing. We've really, I think we've hit our niche, and we're excited about where this can go moving forward. Our event that we're circling is Daytona International Speedway.
Daytona is the track of tracks.
Here we are at the famed Daytona International Speedway.